I just checked, and there appears to be 10 movies in this franchise. I've watched 4, and that already seems to be too many. I definitely don't need you for this one. Just stand back there and look pretty, all right? So, I just finished watching Hellraiser 4 last night. I've kind of been delaying that process and putting that off. And now I pretty much know why. I don't know, man. I have a feeling that these movies are going to make this ranking very difficult for very unfortunate reasons. All right, so Hellraiser 4, Bloodline. We begin the movie with a toy maker. They even refer to him as toy maker. He's been outsourced or hired, or however you want to put it, to build a lament box, or I don't know if I've ever heard anybody actually refer to it as the lament box. I'm sure it has to have happened, but I've never heard it. He was hired to build a puzzle box. He successfully builds this box, and sometime in the future, I believe it's 500 years in the future, we're on a spaceship with one of these toy makers' descendants. I believe in this movie, we meet 3 members of this guy's family. Well, the toy maker, and then 2 of his descendants. It may be more than that. I don't think it is. It's quite possible. I had a hard time with this one. And it seems that Pinhead is also in outer space, and he's trying to capture the soul of this toy maker's distant relatives. 500 years, we see 3 relatives. Like I said, I think it's 3. I don't know if Cenobites skip generations. Who the hell knows? At some point, there's like a demon summoned, and it turns out to be like a really good-looking chick with like the devil's eyes. The blackest eyes. And I don't. This one was a mess for me, man. I'm even having a hard time coming up with what to talk about with this movie, quite honestly. The toy maker, he's a distant relative, 500 years later, relative is in a spaceship. The spaceship looks like it's made out of like solar panels, and throughout the movie we see that someone was trying to design a box to capture lasers or beams of light so that it's repetitive light or ongoing light or making up words, ongoing light, or what's the word, continuous light, and that will somehow kill Pinhead. The whole thing is a goddamn mess. We don't even have good Cenobites in this movie. The girl with the devil eyes eventually turns into a Cenobite, and I own this movie on a DVD. It's part 4, 5, 6, and 7, all on one Blu-ray, and it appears, this is part 4, that she is in part 5 because she's the image on the cover. It ain't even Pinhead. So how excited do you think I am to watch that movie? You like that? If you haven't been watching my other stuff, your boy's got poison ivy in his eye. Yeah. So at least I could only really watch this movie with one well-functioning eye. I'll tell you what, man. I struggled with that. I'm all over the place with this movie. There was even a Cenobite in this movie. I don't know if you would call it a Cenobite or if it's 2 Cenobites. It was 2 dopey cops that somehow got turned into one Cenobite, like his head got twisted together. He's actually kind of cool looking. He's one of the cooler looking things in this whole movie. There's a Cenobite dog in this movie that is definitely based on Chatterbox. Chatterbox, other than Pinhead, I think historically is probably, widely considered the coolest of all the Cenobites. The hell with Butterball. The hell with female Cenobite with that incredibly original name. What? Chatterbox, or Chatterer. I've always known him as Chatterbox, but he technically may be Chatterer. Has always been the coolest Cenobite. He ain't in this movie, but there's a dog in this movie that looks like he was probably made on a budget of like, I don't know, $380. And the dog chatters. So I have to assume that he's some kind of reincarnation of Chatterer or Chatterbox or whoever. Is just a chattering dog. I don't know, man. This movie, oh God. I tell you what, I had a really hard time with part 3. And I saw part 3 in the movie theater when it was released. I had a very hard time with that movie, but I thought maybe with nostalgia being a factor that it would have been easier to stomach years later. I was very wrong. And this movie was worse than that movie was. I found myself, I try when I am watching a movie that I know I'm going to review, I literally take my phone, turn it face down. I can't hear it, I can't see it, so so there's no distraction. I close my laptop so that I'm not checking my analytics or comments or any kind of bullshit like that, so that I can be laser focused on the movie that I know that I'm going to review. This movie, I say no more than 15 to 20 minutes into it, I had my laptop open and my cell phone in my hand checking like email and shit. This movie was so incredibly painful to sit through for me. It's just bad. The toy maker and his relatives is very obviously all the same guy. I don't know if they couldn't find somebody that looked like somebody. I don't know. I friggin' hated it. I hated the best part about this movie. You know what? Even Pinhead. There were parts of him in this movie that I didn't like. He didn't look like himself. He just looked silly. At times, he looked like Pinhead. The Pinhead we all know and love. At other times, he looked like they hired like a lesser of a makeup artist to do the work on him. Maybe it was the same guy for all I know. I don't have any idea. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe it's my eyes. Maybe it's my poison ivy. But there were even times in this movie where I didn't like how Pinhead looked. And Pinhead has been the one steady thing throughout the 4 movies up to this point that I've liked. Wasn't crazy about him in this movie. Met Doug Bradley, loved Doug Bradley, coolest guy in the world. Went outside, smoked a cigarette with him when I actually smoked cigarettes, and it was a great experience, and absolutely loved it. I think, and I know I'm going to say this again, I just know what's coming. There's 10 movies total, there's 8 movies with Doug Bradley. I know for sure that the next 4 movies are going to suck. I know it going into it. It seems like they're getting worse and worse and worse. The last 2 movies that were made with the other dude, the non-Doug Bradley Pinhead, I got high hopes that maybe those 2 aren't dog shit. Part 3 was terrible, Hell on Earth. Part 4 was terrible, Bloodline. Next up, I don't even know which one's next in there. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to review it. Bet you I'm going to hate it. Pinhead ain't even on the cover, so that tells me right up front that this movie's just going to suck too. Or that movie's going to suck too. Tired of ranting about this movie. But anyway, what I was trying to say, where I got distracted. Look, I'm even getting distracted doing the review for this movie. I think that Pinhead is one of the coolest looking characters in the history of horror movies. Period. Amazing character. Clive Barker's imagination is just crazy when it comes to creating and conjuring up Pinhead. Unfortunately, he's like criminally underused, and his character is underwhelming and just such bad, terrible supporting movies for a legendary character. My God, Pinhead is amazing. And so far, 2 of the 4 movies that I've watched have absolutely sucked. Leave me some comments down below and let me know what you thought of Hellraiser 4. Look, I have no doubt in my mind that there's people out there that are fans of this movie. I'm sure of it. I have no doubt in my mind about it. Unfortunately, I ain't one of them. I hated this movie, and I guarantee you I'm never going to watch this movie again. The rankings for this franchise, if it keeps going in this direction, is probably going to be very simple for me, actually. I thought it was going to be hard. If it keeps going and the pacing that it's going in, or in the order that it's going so far, it's literally going to be a countdown. But I hope not. I have high hopes for those other two movies. That it's not Doug Bradley. Hopefully they got new writers when they rebooted this with a new guy. Leave me some comments down below and let me know how you felt about this goddamn train wreck. I'm getting out of here. If you guys like this video, and that's also kind of hilarious because if you're a fan of this movie, that definitely ain't you. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you've been enjoying my content and my ranting and very strong opinions about this dog shit movie, please do me a huge personal favor. Click that subscribe button and ring that bell. It's amazing how many people actually watch YouTube channels and watch somebody like a content creator's videos over and over and over and over and over, but don't subscribe to them. Do me a favor. If you're still here, if you can sit through this bullshit and listen to me yelling for 10 minutes or however long this thing is going to be, you can definitely subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow, and it helps get the word about my channel pushed out more by the YouTube algorithms. All right, I'm done trying to sell this shit now. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. Thank you for watching. If you got to watch this movie, I'm sorry.